I'm Natasha, Busst, and this is Nightline. The top stories. Malaysia secures 8.13 billion ringgit in potential investments from Prime Minister's Italy visit. And 33 aid seekers among 118 Palestinians killed in cruel Israeli attack. Malaysia has attracted 8.13 billion ringgit in potential investments from several leading Italian companies during Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim's 3-day working visit to the country. Speaking at a media conference with the Malaysian media in Rome on Thursday, the Prime Minister said that both Malaysia and Italy had also agreed to strengthen cooperation in key sectors, particularly in trade, investment and connectivity. According to Anwar, the potential investments involve the export of high-value products such as semiconductors, artificial intelligence, AI technologies, chemical and petrochemical products, medical equipment, automotive components, and aerospace parts.
Projek bersama Petronas E&I. Eni ini salah satu syarikat Eropah yang terbesar berpangkalan di Itali yang mempunyai kekuatan dari segi biochemical dan juga CCUS, dan sudah termaterai perjanjian di antara mereka dengan Petronas, dan sekarang nampak syarikat Jepun dan Indonesia Pertamina mau bersama. Dan kini sebaik saja dilancarkan nanti merupakan di antara projek terbesar di rantau.
Anwar added that Malaysia has generated potential exports worth 425 million ringgit in oleochemicals, renewable energy, biofuel feedstocks, animal feed additives, and the food industry. Malaysia has also requested recognition of its Sustainable Palm Oil Certification, MSPO. In addition, Italy also agreed to become a strategic defence partner of Malaysia, involving the procurement of 2 maritime patrol aircraft for the Royal Malaysian Navy as well as 28 helicopters.
Dalam pertemuan itu, kita menegaskan pendirian kita untuk menjamin keadilan untuk keganasan Israel ke atas Gaza dan pencerobohan ke atas Iran yang menyebabkan Iran terpaksa bertindak balas. Tetapi pemusatan perbincangan kita ialah keadaan kedamaian yang boleh menjamin keselamatan rantau. Dalam pertemuan dengan
Earlier, Anwar was given an official welcome by the Italian government at Chigi Palace in Rome on Thursday. He was greeted upon arrival by his counterpart, Giorgia Meloni, and was then invited to inspect the Guard of Honor. Both leaders then held a bilateral meeting aimed at strengthening relations through more comprehensive cooperation. The discussions also covered people-to-people ties, including education, cultural exchange, the tourism sector, as well as regional and international issues of mutual interest, such as the situation in the Middle East. Anwar also extended an invitation to Meloni to visit Kuala Lumpur in conjunction with the upcoming ASEAN summit with dialogue partners in October. He arrived in Rome on Tuesday for his maiden official visit at Meloni's invitation. Meanwhile, the Prime Minister's working visits to Italy, France and Brazil are seen as a timely move as the United States tariff pause is set to expire on July 9th, raising concerns of a potential trade war flare-up. Economist Muhammad Afzanizam Abdul Rashid believes the visits are part of the government's efforts to diversify Malaysia's markets and help mitigate the impact of the U.S. tariffs.
This opens up more opportunities for our key products such as palm oil to penetrate to those markets, and perhaps we open more doors for tourism industries as well.
He added that the visits provide the ideal platform for the government to showcase its commitment to globalization and trade liberalization. This will encourage more conducive trade practices between Malaysia and the three countries. Later in the day, the Prime Minister arrived in Paris, France on Thursday for his first official working visit to the European nation. The aircraft carrying Anwar and the Malaysian delegation touched down at the Pavilion d'Honneur Orly Airport at 4:10 p.m. local time. They were welcomed on arrival by Malaysian ambassador to France, Dato Eldin Hussaini, and officials from the French government. As part of his 3-day visit, Anwar is scheduled to meet President Emmanuel Macron on Friday and will also attend a roundtable meeting with top French industry leaders. After his visit to France, Anwar is expected to travel to Brazil to attend the BRICS Leaders Summit on Saturday. Two food product companies have been summoned by the Domestic Trade and Cost of Living Ministry to explain the recent increase in their retail prices. Its minister, Dato Armizan Muhammad Ali, said the action was taken following viral reports regarding price hikes involving an ice producer and a frozen food supplier. Armizan said the two companies had clarified that the price hikes was not due to the expansion of the Sales and Service Tax SST, but rather the result of an overall cost adjustment by the companies. Following discussions with the ministry, both companies have agreed to postpone the price increase.
Kedua-dua syarikat telah memaklumkan pada 1 Julai bahawa mereka menangguhkan terlebih dahulu kenaikan adjustment kepada harga tersebut kepada satu tarikh yang mereka akan umumkan kemudian.
Armizan also reminded companies to submit the necessary information in accordance to the Price Control and Anti-Profiteering Act and urged the public to report any unreasonable price increases. Previously, several posts went viral on social media alleging that an ice producer is raising the price of a block of ice to 6 ringgit from 3 ringgit 70 sen, while a frozen food supplier announced a 10% price hike effective this month. The probe into the gas pipeline fire in Putra Heights, Subang Jaya last April was carried out independently and transparently by the investigating team and police. Selangor Menteri Besar Dato Sri Amiruddin Syari, who made the remarks, also rejected calls for another investigation, stating that there was no basis to restart the entire process.
Realitinya, ia dilakukan dengan penuh bebas, tanpa ada campur tangan. Kerajaan negeri tidak terlibat langsung. Mereka memanggil kami sebagai saksi dan semua saksinya ada 212. Jadi ada satu pihak yang mempertikaikan, tidak semestinya kita anggap itu sebagai laporan yang tidak betul.
Amiruddin also said that a special committee has been established by the state government to study the report on the incident and recommend possible follow-up measures. He added the full report will be made public once approval is obtained from the relevant authorities. It can also be reviewed by relevant stakeholders, including residents, should they wish to gain a clearer understanding of the incident. The Pahang Customs Department has foiled attempts to smuggle electronic waste and metal scrap worth 4.4 million ringgit. A total of 7 containers containing e-waste, falsely declared as copper concentrate and other goods, were seized in 2 separate raids at Port Klang, Selangor on May 21st. Pahang Customs Director Muhammad Asri Seman said on Thursday that the first raid led to the seizure of over 46,000 kilograms of e-waste worth more than 700,000 ringgit from 3 containers. The second raid uncovered over 105,000 kilograms of aluminium scrap, estimated to be worth more than 3 million ringgit from 4 containers at the same location. The seized materials are believed to have been imported from South America and Japan. Efforts are currently underway to track down the owners. Both cases are being investigated under the Customs Act for the importation of prohibited items, which carries a penalty of up to 5 years imprisonment, a fine of 500,000 ringgit, or both upon conviction. Police have opened 3 investigation papers and arrested a man believed to be the owner of one of the 3 vehicles that blocked the southbound stretch of the North-South Expressway near the Pedas Lingi Rest and Service area in Rembau, Negeri Sembilan. District Police Chief Superintendent Hassani Hussein said the suspect in his 50s was arrested in Seremban at 12:30 a.m. on Thursday. Preliminary investigations revealed the suspect is a vehicle repossession agent and the group is believed to have briefly blocked traffic to repossess a car. Police are still tracking down the remaining suspects. Hassani stressed that obstructing traffic is taken seriously as it endangers road users, especially on highways where vehicles travel at high speeds. The case is being investigated under the Penal Code for negligent or reckless driving and also wrongful obstruction of public passage. Authorities also initiated a probe under the Road Transport Act for causing obstruction on the road. The 13th Malaysia Plan 13MP, which is scheduled to be tabled in Parliament on July 31st, will be in line with the Unity Government's direction and the Madani economy framework. Second Finance Minister Datuk Sri Amir Hamzah Azizan said his current task is to ensure all ministries involved are aligned in planning and implementing the 13MP. Amir Hamzah, who is also carrying out the duties of the Economy Minister, said collaboration with the relevant ministries is crucial to ensure that the strategies planned under the 13MP are effectively translated into implementation. The plan is seen as a 5-year roadmap guiding key national initiatives and policies, including transformation plans for industry, energy and technology. The average price of crude palm oil, CPO, is projected at 4,150 ringgit per ton this year. Research firm BMI expects the price range between 3,800 ringgit and 4,000 ringgit per ton for the remainder of 2025. BMI also stated that the price of CPO came under pressure from external factors during the second quarter of the year, leading to a decline in prices over that period. However, the price rebounded in June following the Israel-Iran conflict and market-driven policies. As of June 27th, CPO futures closed at 3,986 ringgit per ton, with the current annual average at 4,360 ringgit per ton. The United States will place a lower than promised 20% tariff on many Vietnamese exports, cooling tensions with its 10th biggest trading partner. President Donald Trump, in making the announcement, said Vietnamese goods will face a 20% tariff, and any transshipment from third countries through Vietnam will face a 40% levy, while Vietnam would accept U.S. products with a 0% tariff. A deal between the two countries would be a political boost for Trump, whose team has struggled to quickly close deals with Washington's biggest trading partners ahead of the deadline. Tensions flare as remand extended for suspects. This and more after this breather.
Kita nak kongsi penjagaan si bulus. Kucing pun nak kena grooming.
Tekanan atau stres menunjukkan anda mengalami hormon kortisol yang tidak stabil. Ketahui cara mengawalnya.
Semakin sesebuah negara maju, semakin banyak gejala sosial remaja. Terapi online antara solusi terkini.
Kedai makan yang ada haiwan peliharaan, terjaminkah kebersihannya?
Dan soal wang terma kelulusan transaksi perbankan melalui Secure.
MHI Isnin hingga Jumaat jam 10 pagi.
Juga stream ditonton hanya di TV3.
A woman's spirit is boundless. So grab your coffee cups and wear your sassiest smile. Because this season, we're louder than ever. We talk career, health, finance, relationships, and everything in between. Women's Talk is here to empower and inspire you. Join us on Women's Talk every Saturday, 5 p.m. only on TV3 and stream now on Busst.
Saya tak pernah tinggal dia. Mana-mana saya akan bawa dia, saya tak tinggal. Dia ada risiko kematian tiba-tiba. Sebab tu selalu oksigen dia drop. Tiba-tiba dia pengsan je. Saya ingin dia berdiri, panggil saya. Saya cakap apa, cubalah panggil ibu sekali. Dia takkan dapat panggil saya.
Welcome back. The Malaysian Maritime Enforcement Agency, MMEA, has thwarted an attempt to smuggle 170 kilograms of ganja in Kuala Perlis. The drugs were found on a wooden boat near the Malaysia-Thailand maritime border, close to Pulau Ketam, on Thursday. The boat was operated by a lone smuggler posing as a fisherman. He was spotted entering Malaysian waters at around 3:30 a.m. but attempted to change course upon realizing that an MMEA patrol boat was approaching. The suspect later abandoned the vessel and fled by diving into the sea, escaping into the nearby mangrove swamps. Checks on the boat revealed 157 blocks of ganja worth approximately 900,000 ringgit hidden beneath fishing nets. It is believed that Perlis served as a transit point before the drugs were transported by land. The case is being investigated under the Dangerous Drugs Act. The skipper of a boat that capsized off Pulau Perhentian, killing 3 of the passengers, pleaded guilty to drug abuse at the Busst Magistrates Court on Thursday. 22-year-old Azri Yazid made the plea before Magistrate Nurliana Zukri. Azri was charged with consuming nimetazepam at the Busst Police Headquarters Narcotics Crime Investigation Division office on June 29th. The charge provides for a fine of up to 5,000 ringgit and up to 2 years imprisonment or both upon conviction. The court granted him bail of 2,500 ringgit with one surety and set September 4th for case remention. During the June 28th tragedy, the boat was carrying 15 passengers from Pulau Perhentian Kecil to Pulau Perhentian Besar when it capsized at around 10:30 p.m. 2 others, including a 6-year-old child, were also injured. Azri, who tested positive for drugs following the deadly incident, also has a record of 5 criminal offences. The remand for 3 suspects in the murder of a private university student in Cyberjaya has been extended by 7 more days. The order was granted by Magistrate Khairatul Animatul Jelani and takes effect Friday until next Thursday. Tensions flared momentarily outside the Sepang Magistrates Court on Thursday morning when a man believed to be a family member of the victim attempted to confront the main suspect in the case. Quick action by police officers at the scene helped calm the situation and prevent any escalation. Previously, all 3 suspects had been held under remand for 7 days beginning last Friday. The man and 3 women, aged from 19 to 20 years old, were nabbed in Johor Bahru, Johor and Gemuncih Negeri Sembilan within 48 hours of the police report being lodged on the incident. The investigation is being conducted under Section 302 of the Penal Code for murder. The victim, 20-year-old Manisha Preet Kaur, a Bachelor of Physiotherapy student from Kuching, Sarawak, was found dead in her condominium unit in Cyberjaya on June 24th. She was living with 5 other students, but they had returned home for the holidays on June 21st, leaving her alone at the hostel as she was scheduled to take an upcoming examination. A post-mortem revealed the cause of death as blunt force trauma to the head. A company director with a Datuk title has been remanded by the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission, MACC, over alleged involvement in a money laundering case involving approximately 75 million ringgit. The case is believed to be linked to a fibre network development project. A 4-day remand order effective until Sunday was issued by Magistrate Irza Zulaika Rahanuddin at the Putrajaya Magistrates Court. According to sources, the suspect in his 50s was arrested at 4 p.m. on Wednesday while giving a statement at the MACC headquarters in Putrajaya. The alleged offence took place in 2012, involving the approval of a 400 million ringgit loan for the fibre project, of which 75 million ringgit is suspected to have been diverted to a company owned by the suspect. The arrest follows Op Fibre, a special operation conducted by MACC's Special Operations Division. On June 30th, officers raided 4 locations, including the suspect's home and office in Selangor and Kuala Lumpur. 12 bank accounts, both personal and corporate, containing 400,000 ringgit have been frozen. Special Operations Division's Senior Director, Datuk Muhammad Zamri Zainul Abidin, confirmed that the investigation is being carried out under anti-money laundering legislation. P. Diddy denied bail. The details when Nightline returns.
Kerja kita belum selesai.
Saya tak pernah tinggal dia. Mana-mana saya akan bawa dia, saya tak tinggal. Dia ada risiko kematian tiba-tiba. Sebab tu selalu oksigen dia drop. Tiba-tiba dia pengsan je. Saya ingin dia berdiri, panggil saya. Saya cakap apa, cubalah panggil ibu sekali. Dia takkan dapat panggil saya.
Masalahnya, duit tu semua simpanan aku, bang. Aku dah tak ada apa, bang.
Kita ni anak abah. Kita kena tolong abah.
Datuk stay sini kan?
Ya.
Abi temankan you.
Mama bilang abang macam tu je. Siapa yang tanggung? Abang. Abang ni kena jaga abah dengan adik-adik.
Kahwin? You gila ke?
Pasca Kau Pergi, Isnin hingga Jumaat 7 malam. Di Akasia TV3.
Cat Fashion Week. Miau menyala, gaya membara. Temui 8 finalis Cat Fashion Week. Eksklusif di Nona setiap Ahad 2 petang. Bersiaran di TV3 dan stream juga melalui Tonton.
Di sebalik jubah guaman dan dentuman muzik, rentak cintanya tidak mudah.
Kau ingat tak tahu kau cakap apa?
Minah tudung DJ. Rare gila.
Parents saya nak jumpa awak.
What?
Diarahkan oleh Siti Saliha, bintang Asia terbaik di Seoul International Drama Awards 2024 dari layar ke lensa, cerita Rama Istimewa, rentak 2 hati, 5 Julai, Sabtu 10 malam di TV3 dan stream juga melalui Tonton.
We're back with news from the foreign front. At least 33 aid seekers are among 118 Palestinians killed in Gaza since dawn on Thursday after unprovoked gunfire at the controversial Israeli and US-backed Gaza Humanitarian Foundation GHF aid sites. The local media office said attacks also hit a shelter tent in Al-Mawasi and a school housing displaced people near Gaza City, noting that civilians in overcrowded shelters, public spaces, markets and food lines have been among the victims of these intensified strikes. Survivors described chaos as crowds waiting for aid were suddenly fired upon, while rescue efforts were hampered by ongoing shooting. GHF, tasked by the Zionist regime and the US government to distribute aid since May, has faced repeated attacks on civilians lining up for supplies. In the past 48 hours, over 300 Palestinians have been killed across Gaza as a potential ceasefire remains uncertain. Meanwhile, Palestinians sifted through the rubble in a school sheltering people displaced by the war in Gaza City after it was hit by an Israeli airstrike. At Al-Shifa Hospital, relatives bid farewell to those killed in the strike.
يا ترسمونا قبلنا قولوا لنا هوية ونخلص يا ما تصحى ضمير كل هالناس كلها تصحى ضميرها هذه مش حياة يمه هتعبنا احنا بمريك باهي سنتين واحنا في الجهاد سنتين واحنا في جهاد لقمة العيش ما ضلش عيشة ما ضلش عيشة يبيضونا ويريحونا خلاص ما ضلش عيشة إلنا بنادي تتدرحوا هاي بنت أخويا ست ماريا وأولادها وجوزها بنحرقوا معارك حسبي الله عليهم.
In Indonesia, 5 people were killed and dozens were left missing after a ferry carrying 65 people sank near Bali late Wednesday. According to the country's search and rescue agency, the KMP Tunu Pratama Jaya sank almost half an hour after leaving East Java province's Banyuwangi port on its way to Bali shortly before midnight. It added that the search for the missing is still underway, although it is being hampered by strong currents and winds. The agency noted that the boat was carrying 53 passengers and 12 crew members, as well as 22 vehicles. So far, 35 people have been rescued, including several who were found unconscious after drifting for hours in the ocean. President Prabowo Subianto, who was on a trip to Saudi Arabia, ordered an immediate emergency response, adding the cause of the accident was bad weather. Thailand saw its third person helming the Prime Minister's office in a week on Thursday as the king swore in a new cabinet. Phumtham Wechayachai was sworn in as Interior Minister by the king, taking on a Deputy Prime Minister role, outranking Surya Jungrong Rangkit, who took office for only 1 full day. The new cabinet then approved Phumtham's role as Acting Prime Minister at its first meeting. In previous cabinets, the 71-year-old Phumtham held the defense and commerce portfolios and spent a spell as acting prime minister after a crisis engulfed the top office last year. The prime minister's office was upheaved on Tuesday when the Constitutional Court suspended Prime Minister Paetongtarn Shinawatra, pending an ethics probe which could take months. Now, a U.S. judge has declined to grant bail to Sean Diddy Combs on Wednesday, preventing the hip-hop mogul from being freed ahead of sentencing in his sex crimes case. The bond decision came after a jury convicted Combs of federal prostitution-related offenses, but acquitted him of sex trafficking and racketeering charges. Judge Arun Subramaniam rejected the defense's request for bail, citing ample evidence of violent conduct presented during trial. The 55-year-old Grammy winner was found guilty of 2 counts of transporting individuals for prostitution under the Federal Mann Act, with each count carrying a maximum sentence of 10 years in prison. He was cleared of 3 other charges, 2 of which carried mandatory minimums of 15 years and maximum of life in prison. The court suggested sentencing Combs on October 3rd. Sports now, football and the 2026 AFC Women's Asian Cup qualification. The Malayan Tigers were all smiles after winning their second group stage match, defeating host Tajikistan 1-0 on Wednesday. Henrietta Justine scored in the first minute of added time at Pamir Central Stadium in Dushanbe, converting a perfect cross from Intan Sara Anissa Zulkifli. The dramatic injury time goal from the 22-year-old secured the victory, keeping Malaysia in contention for a spot at next year's Asian Cup in Australia, as they are now level on 6 points with North Korea in Group H. Head coach Joel Corneli expressed his delight with the win, noting that the team would enter their final game against North Korea full of confidence. However, it will be an uphill task for the world number 102 Malayan Tigers against the world number 9 North Korea on Saturday, with the winner claiming a spot at next year's Asian Cup. It was a heartbreaking day in international football as Liverpool forward Diogo Jota and his brother Andre Silva died in a car crash in Spain on Thursday, just weeks after Jota's wedding, sparking widespread grief. Spanish police said the accident occurred at about 12:30 a.m. local time when their Lamborghini veered off the road and burst into flames near Zamora. They added that evidence at the scene suggested Jota's car suffered a burst tire while overtaking. The Portuguese Football Federation expressed its deepest condolences, describing the loss as irreparable for the country's football. Captain Cristiano Ronaldo paid tribute to Jota on X, saying the death makes no sense just weeks after his marriage and their UEFA Nations League title with the national team. Liverpool said they were devastated by the loss of the 28-year-old who joined from Wolves for £41 million in 2020, adding that the club will continue to provide full support to his family and friends. Jota, who married on June 28th, helped the Reds win their Premier League last season and also lifted the FA Cup and League Cup with the club. And that concludes Nightline this time around. Before we leave, let's take a look as Bruce Lee aficionados gathered at a Hong Kong mini museum dedicated to the legendary martial artist to bid farewell to the site as operating expenses forced the itinerant archive to close once again. With that, I'm Natasha. Thank you for watching and stay safe.